So welcome to the Distributed Health Research Methods course. So I'm just going to give you an overview of what we're going to cover in this course. So in this video, I'll just talk a little bit about how we define research, and then the learning objectives for the course, and the examples of research projects that you might want to pursue, a little bit about publishing and knowledge dissemination, and then to just touch on some of your research fears, and maybe a little bit of advice on how to deal with them. So for years I was research faculty for the residency program at UBC Department of Family Practice, and in 2012 we looked at defining research in the broadest sense of the word. The definition includes any gathering of data, information and facts for the advancement of knowledge. And in fact, some people would argue about research that it has to be quite a defined R word, but we would say that any scholarship that is actually involves in gathering data and information and facts to advance knowledge, that's what we're embarking on here. So we welcome you to this world. So we designed this Distributed Health Research Methods course so that learners, and no matter what the location, could actually have access to this material. And then it's designed that as you work on each module, most of the assignments will actually enable you to do little bits of a research proposal, so that by the end of the course, if you complete all the modules, you will have developed a research proposal that you can then go on to use to do your research project. And so we've invited numerous different faculty at UBC to give flipped lectures and contribute to this content, but it will give you an overview of health research approaches and methodologies, and you'll have this independent study material, which is essentially flipped lectures. There'll be group activities that you can do online as a group with your peer learners, or if you're in a location that is using this course, you can do it in face-to-face activities. And then there are assignments that I said would contribute to your research proposal, and or some of the assignments are multiple choice question quizzes. So the idea is to build on your knowledge and to build your capacity as a researcher, and ultimately you'll come out of it with a research proposal that you can use for your own research project. So the learning objectives are to be able to help you formulate a clinical research question that's based on your personal interest or provided clinical scenarios. We'll explain to you how to conduct a literature search to identify whether the question is significant, and to also to look at the gap in research knowledge, and also to look at what the anticipated impact will be of your research results. We want to be able to help you to recognize ethical issues and those kind of considerations as you plan your research, including indigenous methods. And we want to describe for you a range of health research methodologies, designs and orientations, so that you can consider which methodology you might want to incorporate into your research project. And this is an overview, it's an introductory course. We are obviously hoping that you will actually get an interest in one of these ideas and be able to pursue it in more depth. And then you'll be able to identify which type of method and design best suits your particular research question with different populations and locations. We'll introduce you to the basic principles of epidemiology and biostatistics. And we're also going to be giving you the key components of research administration and knowledge translation, so what you do at the end with your research. And as I mentioned before, you'll have a completed research proposal by the end of the course. So there's a wide variety of research project types that you might decide you want to embark on. You can do original research, so we'll N of 1 study, or a survey design, or a qualitative study, case control study, or a chart review, or a clinical audit, randomized controlled trial, quality improvement project, or some sort of health education research. You may decide that you're actually not going to conduct the research yourself, but you're actually going to be writing this research proposal as part of a funding application for something that you're doing for your supervisor or for somebody else that you're working with. And there's also a whole host of research activities that relate to program evaluation and program development. It could be a health advocacy project or some health education that you're developing, and you want to be able to evaluate it to see if it's actually being effective. You might decide you want to do a systematic literature review. You might decide you want to write a detailed case report or a position paper, and you might want to be involved in some sort of interdisciplinary art project. So regardless of what you do, what project you embark on, you have to ask the big picture question is, why are you doing all this work of the research? What impact will it have? What difference will it make? And this is kind of the so what question of doing research. So what? Why are we doing this? And so you have to be thinking about this all the way through, is in what ways will my research further knowledge, improve things? Who will read what I write? And how might my project results reach a wider audience? How will they have any impact? How will they move from an academic sphere into actually improving things for anybody? So constantly be thinking about engaging with the community that you're working with, inviting them to be part of the process of your research, and ensuring that they invite you back to share the findings of your research, and invite the community members to think about ways that the findings can be incorporated into the work that they're doing. And also consider doing non-academic publications and lay media publications, lay press publications, and also obviously consider the academic publications. And we touch on this more in the final module, which is Research Administration and Knowledge Translation. There's another video there that's called Knowledge Translation, and we'll be touching a little bit on those kind of questions in that video. So I'm coming now, the last one is just your research fears. And this is some of the advice I would give to the family practice residents when I was advising them on their projects. Obviously for this course you'll be developing a research proposal, but we hope you take this research proposal and move forward with your research project. And so for many people, we come into this thinking we're going to pass and fail, and I'd like to encourage you to think that none of what you do will fail. All of what you do will serve to advance knowledge. You will learn an enormous amount, and hopefully the project that you do will contribute to the knowledge base of improving health. So part of it is selecting a research topic that you're interested in, that you really want to find out about, that you are intrigued by, and part of it is finding a research method and a design that is manageable, that you can actually manage, that's not too big for you, that doesn't take too much time, that is doable and feasible. I think one of the biggest things you can do in terms of helping yourself is to actually find a supervisor or a mentor or a faculty person or somebody who's walked the walk before you in this particular method, so that they can actually mentor you. That is enormous. I can't begin to talk about how much that has meant to myself in my own life as I've learning different types of research methods and finding people who've done it that actually are willing to work with me on staff. Obtaining the ethics approval is probably the biggest thing. And I used to have a mantra that said, basically, if you're doing any research with any humans, involving any human data, you need to obtain a research ethics approval. And if you're working out of UBC, it would be with the UBC Research Ethics Board. And I guess this would be the one reason why somebody would fail, would be if you approached on a research project without first getting ethics approval. That is absolutely cardinal. For many family practice residents, not many, but some, we would see them switch topic halfway through, that they all had 2 years to actually complete a research project, which was not very much time. And so often we saw people switching topics after a while because they got frightened maybe of the project they were on. They were thinking it was going to not produce data. Whatever fears they had, they switched. And I guess I would encourage you to think of doing research a bit like doing a creative project, and you will have times that you'll feel this is the best thing I'm doing, it's a wonderful project, and at times you'll go right down to the bottom of the valley and you'll go, oh, why am I doing this? Has to be the most ridiculous thing ever, and why am I spending time on this? And you just need a little bit of steadiness and just push through it and get to the end of it, and know that you just keep going and that things will work out and you will gather the data and there will be a knowledge there that will be generated. Running out of time is a big one. Often we always, I think, start off a research project and always things don't turn out the way that you think, and invariably there are glitches and challenges which you learn from and you adapt and you move on. And often when you get to the end of the time, you haven't completed as much as you wanted to, but you actually report on what you've done so far. So that's an enormous issue, but it actually then just encourages you to become a lifelong researcher, because this will continue on. No data to present, so I've had a few learners that I've been mentoring who've come to actually do the time that they've needed to do a presentation and they actually don't have any data. But they've been able to present on the work done so far, so in terms of setting up the design, getting the ethics, and working with communities, and present the research as work in progress, and then hope that they can pass the baton to somebody else to actually go out and gather the data. And then comes back to the previous topic that I talked about, the so what. So what? You constantly have to keep asking myself, so what? Why am I doing this? What's the purpose of this? Where will these results take us to? And what can we do with those results once they're gathered?